to think about that for a moment. Well, allegedly, 6 million were killed during the Holocaust. But 20 years before that, there was only 6 million, period. Doesn't something seem a little off? Doesn't it seem off? Those numbers just really seem off. I'm going to end up doing a private thing on this that I heard recently that will shock you. And look, I had family. I have extended family that died in the Holocaust on my mother's side. So I get that there were those that died, but I can tell you right now, there were more Slavic people that died than Jews, by far. And nobody talks about that Holocaust, do they? And right now, Israel keeps yelling this never again, but yet commits the same atrocities, worse, on the Palestinians, on the Lebanese, on the Syrians, on the Yemenites. And the story goes on and on and on. Look at Barry Chumash and the ringworm children, what happened to the Sephardic Jews. Or look at Barry Chumash when he talks about the 2,000 Yemenite Jews that were kidnapped and given to Ashkenazi families. Well, why? Because there was no Semitic bloodline.
Listen very close to what he's about to say. Shalom. Listen very close to what he's about to say. Set it up again.
On the Palestinians, on the Lebanese, on the Syrians, on the Yemenites. And the story goes on and on and on. Look at Barry Chumash and the ringworm children, what happened to the Sephardic Jews. Or look at Barry Chumash when he talks about the 2,000 Yemenite Jews that were kidnapped and given.
He's going to go into the bloodline, who is and who's not a Jew.
The Ashkenazi families. Well, why? Because there was no Semitic bloodline. They learned that during the time after the Holocaust when they're trying to help those that did survive that and that were dying of starvation and malnutrition, that when they used a Semitic formula that was taken from down in Africa there.
Huh? The Limba? The Igbo? Is that right? You mean the Israelites, the real ones that you know about. What happened, Steve?
It was used on the Jewish people there, they still died. But when they took one from Siberia that was used, a formula there, the deaths ended. What does that tell you? They were just white European or white they were white folks is what they were. They converted to Judaism, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can do that. That's perfectly legal to do. So I'm not going to downplay that aspect of it.
Oopsie. Caught yourself up. Let me correct what I said. Let me go back and clean that up. I just told the whole truth that we all know. They all know this truth. They know it. He said it. You ain't supposed to say that. Go back and clean that up.
Starvation and malnutrition, that when they used a Semitic formula that was taken from.
Go back a little bit so you can get everything that he's saying here.
Because there was no Semitic bloodline.
Why? What? Not with the white Jews, right?
And the story goes on and on and on. Look at Barry Chumash and the ringworm children, what happened to the Sephardic Jews. Or look at Barry Chumash when he talks about the 2,000 Yemenite Jews that were kidnapped and given to Ashkenazi families. Well, why? Because there was no Semitic bloodline. They learned that during the time after the Holocaust when they're trying to help those that did survive that and that were dying of starvation and malnutrition, that when they used a Semitic formula that was taken from down in Africa there, that was used on the Jewish people there, they still died. But when they took one from Siberia that was used, a formula there, the deaths ended. What does that tell you? They were just white European or white They were white folks, is what they were. They converted to Judaism, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can do that. That's perfectly legal to do. So I'm not going to downplay that aspect of it. All right, let me take and show you another thing here as well. This was from Ibrahim Mayid. Israeli forces remain under intense pressure in South Litani River.
What are we talking about here? Shalom. Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Kakodash, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops, a great millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutation to all the brothers out preaching the word, the truth, and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle. David. I'm the Elder Yahshua, I'm back with the World War III Daily Update. Shalom and salutations to you all. I just thought that, I saw that and I'm like, this guy just rattled off the truth, right, as though everybody knows it and they're just holding back. So I thought and then immediately after we went right back into what? World War III, or the Greater Israel Project. It says the world in pieces. What World War III's got this place in pieces. Unmasking the global agenda. What is the global agenda? The CHIP. World, global. Okay? And these people are leading the world into its own destruction with these lies. Oh, we are those people, so we can get away with these lies. Schicklgruber did this. Schicklgruber didn't know you did that, or you made up something that nobody could talk about right before you went and did it. Well, you can't talk about that. You can't talk about it. Here you are doing it, but we can't talk about it. That's what you set up some shit that nobody can talk about. And now here we are, 80 years later, and if we open our mouth about anything, that ruse that you set up 80 years ago is working. But it's at its end. Right? That's a war. It's called a war of words. Propaganda war, if you will. Anyway. I'm pressed for time. So yeah, I'm gonna get that. Yeah, I'm gonna get that for old time's sake. This is Revelation 2 and 9. I'm gonna get it for old time's sake. Right? And we understand what it is, but we can still use it. We can still reference it in the spirit. 2 and 9. Revelation 2 and 9. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And there you are. Okay, where you at? But noon is one of them. And you just let your tongue fall. Right? You just caused your own tongue. Own. T-O-N-G. Own tongue. Psalm 64 and 8. So shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all that see them shall flee away. So, you want to keep talking there, tongue? Lengua?
Relentless ambushes of tactical strikes by resistance due to the high intensity of their battlefield engagements. Ground units have been unable to evacuate the disabled armored vehicles and military hardware from the combat zones. In a significant development, the Israeli media reports indicate that the Israeli military has formally requested the International Mechanism Committee to establish contact with Hezbollah.
Does this sound like World War III to you? People are beginning to fear, right? Now that they've woken up to the fact that Babylon lost the war. Now what? Right? The Armenians can come over here and start wrecking shit. Well, that's called war. Whoa, 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 nigga, you didn't know. Whoa, 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 nigga, you didn't know. You didn't know. I got that whoa, whoa, whoa. You didn't know. Where is it? You didn't know. I got that whoa, whoa, whoa. You didn't know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Three woes, not two. Revelation 8 and 13. War, war, war. Destruction, destruction. Torah, Torah, Torah. Attack. Revelation 8 and 13. And I beheld and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels, which are yet to sound. And guess what? They're sounding woe, woe, woe. And look at your boy, Stephen Banu, right? Tripping over his own tongue.
Is seeking security coordination and safe passage to extract his casualties and damaged vehicles from southern Lebanon. Wow, can you imagine that? Wow, golly gee. The Israelis will just bomb anybody into oblivion and sit there and hold Palestinians that are living in the West Bank there, hold them at gunpoint and drive them out of their homes, or bomb Gaza into oblivion till you kill everybody and then try to starve them completely out, and you're asking for some kind of morality in Lebanon. After, what was it, Ben Gvir threatens to take women and children hostage just to force Hezbollah to cave in. You know, I agree, though. Anyone that's trying to retreat deserves the right to be able to retreat without being attacked. 100 Palestinians said to have been killed in the last 20.
Look at this shit.
And that's on here. This is a video here. These are armed Israeli settlers forcing Palestinians off their land and out of their home at gunpoint. I mean,
what is war? War is about taking people's land and natural resources at gunpoint. Okay? This is one people against another at war. Look at this.
Imagine if it was the other way around, right? Imagine if it was the other way around. Take a look at this.
Let's go. Let's go.
Can you believe this? It is just tragic to see that. Very tragic. Also, too, tents that are going out, right?
So they're stealing their land at gunpoint. Get off of the land. Get out. Leave the house. Get the fuck up. Okay. This is what war is about. Okay. Micah 2 and 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. You clearly see that right there. Okay? And that's, shit. That's the devil, man. So, but that's war, right? Here we are. One more. Let's see. And that's what you see right here. This is 2nd, 13, 30. Right here. One people. Okay. 2 Ezra 13:31, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. That's what one people, right? That's a war. That's just terrible. Somebody come and take your shit, get out of your house and leave, right? And if you don't, they'll shoot you in the
that
head.
there's just too much involvement. Israel is openly saying they involved in doing these things on the elections. Well, to make things worse, right? Charles Hodge has shared some very nice information with me. In fact, my last report was so much of Charles's dedicated work that he shares with me as well. This is what is called, and I'm just let you read the word there. I won't say it out loud because I don't want to get knocked out here doing this on here. This is a video here. These are armed Israeli settlers forcing Palestinians off their land and out of their home at gunpoint. Imagine if it was the other way around, right? Imagine if it was the other way around. Take a look at this.
Let's go. Let's go.
One people is war. So it's going to be like that right here in Babylon. It's going to be confusion like this, motherfuckers punking and stealing and taking and get the fuck out. You'd be lucky. Leave. Roll the fuck up out of there. Right? Anyway, yeah. Get ready. Get yourselves ready. Right? Be even as pilgrims. Yeah, just take the house, take the family and walk up the road. All right? Trying to get one more. This is Ecclesiastes 3. Got it now? Ecclesiastes 3. Call halal on the 414 there. Come on. I hope it renders. I'm going to just read it. In the BSB. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Now, let me get down to 8. A time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time of peace. If you don't understand that we're in the time of war right now, when this happens to you, you're not going to be ready. With that, we pray that the elect are edified. Get ready. Get your mind right.